Welcome back to Chronicles on the Focus, the podcast where we delve deep into the lives and legacies of history's most fascinating figures. I'm your host, Bob, and with me as always, is the brilliant Alice.
Hello everyone. And Bob, today's subject is a real heavyweight. A man whose ideas still shape our world centuries later. We're talking, of course, about Aristotle.
Aristotle. The name conjures images of dusty books and complex philosophical arguments. But let's be honest, Alice, the man was way more interesting than your average philosophy professor. He wasn't just a thinker. He was a total Renaissance man before the Renaissance even existed.
Absolutely. He was a tutor to Alexander the Great, for starters. Can you imagine the classroom dynamic there? Okay, Alexander, now let's discuss the merits of a good syllogism. And by the way, world domination is later.
Exactly. And get this, his father was the personal physician to King Amyntas of Macedon. So, Aristotle probably had a pretty privileged upbringing. Though his parents both died when he was young, he ended up being raised by a guardian.
That's right. And at 17, he heads off to Plato's academy in Athens. Picture this: a young Aristotle, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, soaking up knowledge from one of history's greatest minds. But apparently, there was a bit of a falling out after Plato died. Aristotle even left Athens for a while.
Rumor has it that he wasn't thrilled with Plato's successor, Speusippus, taking over. It seems the academy's direction had changed. Also, the anti-Macedonian sentiment in Athens might have pushed him away. Then he gets invited to tutor Alexander.
And what a student. It wasn't just about books, though. Aristotle was seriously into biology, even doing research in marine biology on Lesbos. Talk about a multidisciplinary approach. Did you know his works included early formal studies in logic? Medieval scholars like Peter Abelard and Jean Buridan studied his work.
Seriously impressive, and his influence extended far beyond his lifetime. Medieval scholars absolutely adored him. Thomas Aquinas called him the philosopher, and Dante called him the master of those who know. He's even been referred to as the first scientist. But it's important to note that only about a third of his original writings have survived. Imagine all the lost wisdom.
It's mind-boggling to think about, isn't it? From his work on ethics to politics to physics, Aristotle left an indelible mark on human thought. And he was a prolific writer too, producing hundreds of books on papyrus scrolls. His ideas shaped medieval scholarship and even influenced Judeo-Islamic philosophies.
Truly a giant. So next time you're wrestling with a particularly thorny philosophical problem, remember Aristotle. He might not have all the answers, but he certainly laid the groundwork for centuries of intellectual exploration.
And that's all the time we have for today, folks. Join us next time on Chronicles on the Focus for another fascinating journey into history. Goodbye.